Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Toe Show. I'm your host, The Toe. Today's special and random topic chewing gum. And why and how do we even have such a seamlessly useless thing? Let's talk about it. Firstly, I have to mention that apparently people have chewed on something all over the place throughout history, so the origin story doesn't really come from a single source. Just like anything in our society, you can divide these chewy things into groups. First one, I'll call the healthy and healing gums. For example, ancient Greeks chewed mastic tree bark. The Chinese, ginseng plant root. Inuits from the Arctic regions used blubber, also known as muktuk, which basically is whale's skin. Native Americans used spruce resin. Ancient Mayans chewed chicle, that basically is a milky latex kind of thing, which comes out from sapodilla tree if you cut its bark. The tree itself grows in some tropical areas, and technically if you translate the milky latex's native name to English, it would just mean the sticky stuff. So yeah, remember this sticky stuff. And all of the mentioned ones have some healing benefits and we still use them today. But then there's the other group, the guys looking for the next hit. Early settlers of America chewed tobacco leaves, which is still a practice nowadays. South Americans didn't mess around with tobacco and just went straight to coca leaves, which of course are used to make some sort of illegal white powder, but in reality the leaves themselves are rather harmless and act as a mild stimulant, even weaker than coffee. For Western Africa, they chewed cola nuts, which are also a stimulant containing caffeine. And in Africa, they also have khat in some regions. Those are leaves, which actually are rather strong stuff, mostly illegal nowadays due to a strong stimulant effect and makes the consumers feeling euphoric or something. Depends on the amount used. The Southern Asia region chewed betel nuts, which, is also a stimulant that makes you more talkative and turns your face red and probably some other things. Anyway, I bet there's a lot more in the world that people decided to put in their mouth for pleasure or healing. But the reason why we have so many different chewy things is because people use the locally sourced organic option. Just like that friend who only eats the food if he knows the name of the farmer who grew it. So yeah, two types of chewing gums throughout the times and cultures. But getting back to the present, the gum we know around the world now has its roots in America. The first product of this kind developed was inspired by the Indians, who chewed the spruce tree resin, but it soon was outperformed by chewing gum made of paraffin wax. Wait, what? Yeah, that's the same thing from which candles are being made. And that's not all. If you wanted to maintain the non-existent sweetness on this baby, be ready to carry around a bag of powdered sugar to continuously dip the gum in. But the first real development towards the modern day gum happened in New York in 1860s. In a quite bizarre way, just as many other great things are invented, of course. One person involved was former President of Mexico, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, who was exiled from his home country mostly due to losing roughly half of Mexico's territories to United States in one way or another. So in New York, this guy met American inventor Thomas Adams, which kinda was his secretary of some sort. But anyways, Adams saw Lopez chewing on chicle, which, as mentioned before, is the natural gum type of thing from Southern America. From the tree with all the health benefits and etc. So Adams, as a true American at heart during the pre-game of the whole industrialized revolution, decided to try to make this medicine type of thing into the only logical product he could think of. Rubber for tires, of course. Well, but that sorta didn't happen. So Adams saw the potential it could hold for a new product, chewing gum. And so the first candlewax-free chewing gum was born. At first with no taste and all, but as Adams saw that people actually liked it, he created the first flavored gum, which came in strips instead of biting down on candle or something. It was called Blackjack, and it had anise, or better known licorice flavoring, which is a very poor choice of the first taste to create, if you ask me. But thankfully now mint is the most popular flavor, just to keep those smelly breaths at bay. So soon after Adams had success with his company, many others followed into the business. On 1891, Wrigley's company was founded, which is still a major player in the market today. and it made William Wrigley one of the richest persons in US. Time later, in 1928, some people in an unknown location had a conversation that went something like this. You know that Adams guy? He made this thing you can chew on. Well, certainly, and it tastes like crap. Yeah, so I was thinking, what if we make it pink? And make it so that you can blow bubbles with it. OMG, that sounds like something I was missing in my life. Let's do it. Well, it might not be the most accurate story, but bubblegum was born. Wrigley Corporation actually made the next and so far final step in the gum evolution. They substituted the all-natural chicle with a good old butadiene or something based synthetic gum. It's basically plastic, and it is also used in making of tubes, for example, the inner balloon of sports balls. So yeah, this decision mainly benefited the shareholders, but hey, at least now the bubble you blow doesn't stick to your face because there's no sticky stuff in it. But this is the substance at core of almost every gum out there nowadays, so take it or leave it. I also have to mention how it became a global phenomenon. The success of the chewing gum in a worldwide scale actually is owed to the Second World War. Yeah, because gum was part of US soldiers' field rations to keep them happy in the trenches. Luckily, they could successfully trade them with the locals all over the place, just because they didn't have it, and also associated it with the stunning and cool Western culture. In Soviet Union, for a long time after the war, chewing gum was considered basically a luxury product because the government wasn't too happy about having Western culture products gaining popularity in their market. So if you were a kid in SSSR and got some gum for your birthday, that was a good birthday. However, chewing gum has actually declined in popularity because in the 20th century it was like a fashion statement and all the young people were doing it. But at the beginning of the 21st century, young people started to quit on chewing, mostly to just be different from older people or something. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Feel free to like this video to motivate the release of the next one. And if you have some interesting topics for me to cover, leave the idea in the comments section. Toes out.